Welcome to Soul Yoga Online. We hope you enjoy your virtual experience. For live support, visit us in studio anytime. Hi, it's Dorcas. I'm delighted to offer you a little mini outdoor practice. So find a spot that suits you and perhaps inspires you and just roll out your mat. Chances are it will be an imperfect space. The ground might be wobbly underneath you, and that's okay. It's part of the practice. It'll make it more interesting. Feel your feet connect with the ground, and then rise up and extend. Maybe interlace the hands behind the head. Open up your chest and just take in the sky. With your eyes open, just look around, or maybe with your eyes closed, hear. Do you hear the birds? Do you hear the breeze? Stretch the arms out wide and maybe behind your back, further opening up the chest and just expanding into this practice. And then we'll step right into Warrior One with the left foot forward. We'll spend a little bit of time here so you can enjoy placing your feet carefully. Perhaps raising the arms up as I have right away, just to stretch up and take in the space that you have. Opening the chest. And then we'll tweak a little bit by rotating the right ribs forward. I've tucked my left arm behind my back and reached my right arm up, just to help orient the chest toward the front of the mat. And you can continue to work with this, the posture and the alignment here, perhaps extending both arms up towards the sky. And again, squaring the hips and the chest towards the front of the mat, keeping a nice deep bend in that front knee. And then if you'd like, rotating the heel of the back foot towards the sky. So now you're just on your toes. And then extending into a twist, tucking the right elbow on the outside of the left thigh and lengthening from heel on the right side through the crown of the head. Once you're set, create a little space between your thigh and your belly, perhaps lifting up a little bit so you can really lengthen through the torso, pressing palms together and bringing the thumbs to the sternum. Breathe. Twist. And then release the hands down when you're ready. Take your time transitioning, perhaps enjoying a downward facing dog. We'll stay here for a handful of breaths so you can orient, feeling your hands and feet on the ground, perhaps shaking out the back of the neck and feeling the reprieve on the cervical vertebrae. When you're ready, you can begin to shift into the other side for our Warrior One, bringing the right foot forward, taking a look at the back heel as you press it into the mat and the outer edge of the foot pressing down. Reaching up, opening the chest, perhaps the hands behind the head or hands on the hips, guiding the left hip forward and the right hip back so that your alignment is such that your hips are pointed forward towards the front of the mat. Virabhadrasana 1, the Warrior One, it's quite a big opportunity for a back bend. And so you want to make sure that those hips are pointed forward, sinking into the depths of the posture if you're willing, if you're ready to build a little warmth and heat. And if you like, you can also lift the back heel on this side, more of a crescent lunge warrior, Anjaneyasana sometimes called. And then dive into the twist on this side when you're ready, tucking the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Take some nice deep breaths here as you feel that rotation in the twist. Draw the crown of the head away from the shoulders and the shoulders down the back. And then release back to the ground. Certainly options to take child's pose or even mountain pose if you prefer something that is off the hands. But just taking a reprieve here and breathing, checking in with your body and your breath, shaking out your head again if you're upside down, maybe pedaling the heels alternately, I have my feet stepped a little bit wide just to feel an extra release in the lower back, which sometimes feels nice. And then walk your hands back toward your feet and enjoy an extended forward fold. Any Uttanasana variation that feels good. Feel free to bend the knees, shake out the head a bit, relax, breathe, soften the jaw. Notice what you see, perhaps, taking in the upside down perspective as you're in nature. Forward fold, so nourishing to the nervous system. Just staying here a little bit longer than perhaps you normally do. Nice, slow, deep breaths. As the body receives the posture, you can deepen. And then let's play with opening the hip a little bit. Simply lift the right leg up and just extend it into the space behind you. The height does not matter. You can just lift the leg up. If you feel inspired to move into half moon, you can open up further. But just explore lifting up on both sides. I've switched already to the other side. Just a bit of an inquiry into the space in the front of the hip. And then slowly just playing, curiously playing. Maybe reaching an arm to the sky if you feel like really opening up through the whole side. But then come back down to the ground, hands and feet on the ground, still in this surrendering posture, forward fold, and then think about a halfway lift, just lengthening the spine. Knees might be bent or straight, hands on the shin. And then make your way to standing. Rising up again to take in the space that you have, the fresh air, maybe opening the eyes and enjoying the scenery. Adjusting whatever you need to adjust. And just feeling your feet, perhaps wiggling your toes. And explore the simple beauty of Tadasana, the mountain pose. Your feet grounding down, the crown of your head lengthening up. Just feel beautiful posture. Enjoying a couple nice deep breaths. Maybe again taking in the scenery before we step into Trikonasana. Right foot stepping forward. We'll prepare for a little stretch through the right hamstring. Both arms extend, one forward, one back. Just really reach the right arm forward as you let the crease of the right hip deepen. The right hand might come down to the shin. If you had some sort of organic block handy, that could be useful. Just don't press on the knee. Play with this so that you feel supported. Both legs are strong and straight. Hugging the muscles of the bones in toward the body. So just playing with it. And then we'll simply transition to the other side, just rotating your feet. Now facing in the opposite direction, reaching the other arm forward, extending the torso long. So you have many straight lines here. The legs are straight, the torso is straight, the arms are straight. The head simply an extension of the spine. Look up, look down, keep the head level. Just see that the cervical vertebrae are mostly in line with the rest of the spine. Take in some nice deep breaths here. Try lifting your toes and hugging again the muscles towards the bones. Come up when you're ready. Feel free to insert any postures or stretches that feel like a good segue. I have inserted Warrior 2 here with a little neck stretch. Just see what comes to you. And then we'll start to play with Parivrtta Trikonasana, the revolved triangle, using some of the preparatory twists that we did a little while ago and combining it with the Trikonasana. So shorter stance, left foot forward, right toes angled forward, hips square. Take the right arm towards the sky and then fold forward at the hips. Really nice long lines here. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Release the right hand down towards perhaps the shin. Might even be your thigh, but again, not the knee. If you had a block, this would be really handy here. Anything to support you so that you were a little bit higher up. Root strongly through the heels. Hug the muscles of the legs in towards the center, towards the bones. And feel the crown of the head draw in the opposite direction of the tailbone, really lengthening the spine. Belly button turning towards the inner thigh. It's a complex pose, so have patience with yourself and breathe. Takes quite a bit of balance, strength, determination, but mostly patience. You can reach the left arm up, and you can rise all the way up when you're ready, and we'll switch into the other side. Take your time transitioning. We'll simply just pivot through the center and back to the original direction that you started with. Same thing on this side. Strong legs. Left arm perhaps reaching up to elongate through the side of the body and both sides evenly. Hinging at the hips. Again, nice straight legs. You may not fold all the way forward. You just fold until you feel a tug on any part of the body, but probably the hamstrings, maybe the outer hip. I've released my right hand to my lower back and my left hand down to my ankle. As I rotate the belly button towards the inner thigh, I'm able to twist a little bit more deeply, reaching the right arm now towards the sky. See what you can do. Have patience, breathe, watch, and just allow. And then release when you're ready and step toward the original front of your mat. Just reconnecting with the body and the breath and maybe shaking things off a little bit. And then we'll work into a little balancing, standing on the left leg and drawing the right knee in towards the chest. Just hold onto the knee with both hands. Get taller here. Feel the crown of the head lengthen up and the sole of the foot ground you down. And then we'll invite that familiar twist back in, rotating the belly button off toward the right. You can slide the left hand to the outside of the right thigh, and if you want, you can reach the right arm all the way behind you. Gazing back at the thumb is the final step. Stay awake, stay connected to the breath. Release when you're ready. Just let this be a little inquiry into balancing, and balancing with a little standing twist, which is also a bit of a complex operation. Trying the other side, lifting the left knee up, feeling your balance first and your alignment and your length and the Tadasana within this posture. And then slide the right hand to the outside or just to the knee and let the left hand slide towards the lower back as you gently, bit by bit, move your gaze around. Come back slowly, both feet down. Taking a moment to reconnect with Tadasana, with your surroundings, and with your internal breath. Balancing on an outdoor surface, a natural surface, can be extra challenging, so just settling in before you stretch up again, lengthen towards the sky, stretch through the sides of the body, arms extended. And as you're ready, bowing forward, lengthening, or perhaps curling down, whatever feels best to you. A little bit of an interlude here, perhaps reconnecting with downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Maybe something else suits you better. Table pose, a child's pose. We're going to work into pigeon. So drawing whichever leg forward you would like to start with. Just bend the knee and bring it up between the hands. The closer the foot is in toward the groin, the easier it may be. If you need more of a stretch or more of a challenge, just bring the ankle further away from the center of the body, moving the shin toward parallel with that front edge of your mat. Staying rather upright with the fingertips supporting you, lifting the chest up, and it might be a nice opportunity to look around, to breathe in the fresh air, to feel perhaps the breeze or take in the scenery. It may also be nice to close your eyes and listen in with the ears. Notice what you hear. And with the eyes closed, if that's your choice, you may also be aware of the sensation on your skin. If there's some grass that is brushing up against you, or again, the feel of the breeze. So just tuning your awareness in to the external environment. Switching sides at your leisure. You can take the time that you need to. You can always pause this and stay for an extended period of time. There's absolutely no reason you need to be on someone else's pace. You can be on your own pace. I've switched sides. I'm just breathing, relaxing into the posture, and noticing how one side for me feels different than the other. Is that the case for you too? So much of this practice is an inquiry, just an opportunity to check in with yourself. Witness, observe, and even ask yourself questions. Maybe for you, it's just an opportunity to take some nice deep breaths. When you're ready, you can transition out. Again, if you like pigeon pose and you want to hang out there, you can stay for a while longer. In my practice, I opted to work into headstand a little bit. I just felt inspired to do that. You may do something else. You may stay in pigeon longer. You may also opt for child's pose. But should you want to join me in headstand, you can certainly do so. Just ensure that your neck is supported. There actually is very little to no weight on the head, and so the cervical vertebrae are not getting crunched. You can interlace your fingers and make sure the pinky fingers are firmly pressing into the ground. The outer edge of the arm and the elbows support you. And the very crown of the head goes on the ground, and the back of the head goes into the palms that cup around the back of the head. From there, you'll push into the elbows, bring the hips over the shoulders, and take the legs up with conscious awareness. Stay as long as you like. This is a mini version of the headstand, so I've come down pretty quickly, slowly, curled up to sitting on my knees. Again, if you'd like more time here, just pause the video and take your time. If you're comfortable in headstand, you can certainly stay for many, many minutes if you'd like. Just see how you feel. If you're new to headstand, I would advise checking in with a teacher on your form. So coming up to sitting on your shins if you haven't already, and just resting and pausing there for a handful of breaths. Enjoying some nice, slow, deep belly breaths. Perhaps again taking in the scenery if your eyes are opened. Particularly after doing a posture like headstand, it's important to just have a little bit of time to integrate and to rest before you move on. We'll start to do a few more grounding, cooling postures. Coming into cow face pose. You'll cross your right knee on top of your left knee with your heels around the outside of your hips. And then you'll sweep your right arm underneath your left arm for eagle arms. This too is a bit of a complex posture and not accessible to everyone. As an alternative, if you're unable to bring your heels back near your hips, you can just keep the lower bottom leg extended and just the knee on top crossed. Between sides, feel free to insert a Navasana or a boat pose. And be playful with these postures as you're sitting here and in your variation of cow face pose. You can work some subtle micro movements, stretching through the back or the neck, or even the face and the jaw. Ultimately, in the posture, your spine is nice and long, sitting up straight and tall. This may be difficult without a cushion or a block underneath your hips, so just do your best. And then we'll start to move on to our backs, coming into the bridge pose, Setupandasana. Take your time getting there. It's a nice stretch at the back of the neck. You can stay there in bridge pose, or if you'd like a little bit more work with inversions, you can play with shoulder stand. And again, this is a posture that is not always accessible to everyone, so use your best judgment here. If it's not a familiar posture for you, just stay in the bridge pose. If it is, you can certainly play with extending your legs up, dropping your legs over your head into plow pose, together or singly. You can do some bicycle movement. And this version of shoulder stand for me was just more of an inquiry and a short expression. And then settling back onto my back. The invitation is to start to really ground down into the earth. And the fact that you're outside is a wonderful opportunity to really feel the essence of that. Perhaps the unsteadiness or the rockiness or the unevenness of the ground underneath you as you lay on your back. And get comfortable here. Choose either to open your eyes and do a little cloud gazing. It's a really beautiful way to just feel a bit of a calm ease as you watch the clouds pass by. Alternatively, you could certainly close your eyes and notice what your other senses are taking in. Sound, noticing the sensation against your skin, temperature of the air. You might just put your hand on the grass and feel the texture of the grass. Be sure that you feel at ease and supported. Knees could be bent, or you could bring the soles of your feet together and your knees out wide. It's difficult to see in the video, but I'm practicing half hero, which is a nice alternative option as well. Just one heel back by my hip, the knee pointed down, the other leg extended or knee bent towards the sky. Half hero is a bit of an intense posture. It can be, depending on your flexibility. So all of these are just options. Mostly just considering laying down, taking some nice deep, generous breaths, and relaxing. As you explore any kind of postures on your back, I invite you to perhaps place a hand on your abdomen, or just bring your awareness to your breathing and some nice deep belly breaths, just expanding the stretchy part of your belly, filling it up with as much air as you can. Perhaps even a little bit of a hold or a kumbhak. Holding the breath in for an extra second or two and then slowly exhaling. And perhaps holding the breath out as well for an extra second or two. So as we come towards the cooling and closing part of the practice, slowing everything down, coming closer to the earth. This is a nice, deep reset for your nervous system as you incorporate these slow, deep breaths. Take as long as you'd like here on your back, really enjoying this time, perhaps including any other postures that feel nourishing or would help you feel complete. Maybe a twist in either direction. Continue with the slow breathing. If you want to stay and indulge in this part of the practice a bit longer, just pause the video. And then when you're ready, simply counterpose some of your efforts by squeezing the knees into the chest, maybe lifting the head and gazing in towards your center, just around the spine a little bit. And then start to prepare for your final rest, Shavasana, out in the great outdoors. If you're chilly, if it's slightly breezy and you're uncomfortable, make sure that you address that and cover up, put your jacket on. But if you feel willing to just be in the elements and exposed, that can be an aspect of your practice and your meditation. Settling onto your back when you're ready. And get yourself comfortable. Tucking the shoulders under perhaps. Tucking the tailbone under if you feel any pain or discomfort in your lower back. Setting your legs and your feet up as you wish. Maybe extended. Maybe knees bent. And then settle in for a sweet Shavasana. If you'd like to time it yourself, you can just pause the video. Otherwise, it'll just be 3 or 4 minutes, relaxing. Make sure you're at ease and then simply drop into your anchor. Perhaps it's your breath. You could certainly do an open-eyed, cloud-gazing Shavasana or something different. But just relax and be the witness to your experience. Enjoy a few minutes of quiet surrender. Beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes, reawaken your breath, and start to slowly return to a seated position. If you have a little bit of extra time, I invite you to sit in stillness, in meditation, or in pranayama, perhaps some Nadi Shodhana. If your time is up, just take a moment to bow to yourself and honor this time that you've spent in practice, and gesturing not only to yourself but to all those that practice yoga in the practice of yoga, perhaps bringing the palms together and just bowing in a namaste. If you have a little bit of extra time, again, I just encourage you to sit with me and do some Nadi Shodhana, the alternate nostril breath, or just some simple deep breathing if Nadi Shodhana is not in your repertoire. And this time at the end of your practice is precious as you segue from your yoga mat back into your day, whether it's the morning or the afternoon or the evening. Sometimes it's nice to move in silence and move extra slowly, just taking note of the subtlety that is around you. And even when we practice just for 15, 20, 30 minutes, it can really allow us to just be more connected, not only to ourselves and our breath, but to the rhythm of our day, to the rhythm of nature. And so I honor you for practicing, and it's been a pleasure to be with you. I hope you enjoy your day. Namaste. Special thanks to the beautiful birds of New Caledonia and the scenery, the handy iPhone that's always with me, and for all the beautiful humans at Soul Yoga that support the studio and community. Join us live for a class. See our schedule at soulyoga.org. Namaste.